And welcome to the Health Beat Show. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson, and welcome back to the Health Beat Show. Today we're going to be talking some about women in science. And joining me today is none other than Miss Kat Bobineau. Good afternoon, Miss Bobineau.
Good afternoon, Dr. Watson.
And I understand that you are a scientist yourself.
I am.
That is correct. You are a biologist.
That is correct.
And tell me, what is a biologist? What is biology all about?
So biology is kind of the study of life. So you can take biology in many different fields. I chose to do two different things. One is ecology-based, conservation ecology. So I like being outdoors. I like working with wildlife. And the other part of it is science education, where I do STEM outreach, and I talk to youth about going into careers in STEM.
And that seems to be, what does STEM stand for?
So STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math.
Okay. And, you know, that seems to be an area that is extremely important when we're looking at young people and their capability of going on to college or going on to any professional ranks. Are there, as far as you know, are there any real studies or analysis about how children do as it relates to this type of education, science, technology, education, and math?
Well, there are some studies that's out there, and what it's telling us is that America as a whole, we are lacking with our kids going into STEM, or science, technology, engineering, math. And because of that, we need to rev up and introduce our kids to it earlier, talk about it in our early time of when they're in elementary school, even before if you can, and get them interested in these type of fields. Now, the problem also rests with the teachers and getting the teachers their education when it comes to science. And unfortunately, a lot of teachers who are in elementary, they don't have a science background. So for them to introduce that thought process to them, they don't really have a grasp of what they should be teaching, which is okay, but we just need more people who have a science background who are going to teach the kids how to go into it.
Now, my kids are actually in the 6th grade right now. I have twins. And it's my understanding, is 6th grade kind of a pivotal year as it relates to that?
It is a pivotal year. There have also been some studies with young girls who around that age, they decide that science isn't cool, they don't have a good role model in science, and so they start to recede into themselves and not answer the science questions, even if they do know the answer. And it's also been noted that teachers will call on boys faster than girls when it comes to that subject. So boys are getting a step up in these fields or in the classrooms, and when the little girls, they also need a hand.
What about the job environment? When we talk about the job environment, you know, okay, I'm a physician, and we'll be talking to some other people in the health sciences today, as well as you, who is a scientist. But what about computer science and all of these jobs that are in the technology industry right now? Are our kids being prepared, and particularly African American kids, to enter into these types of professions?
It depends on their schooling and what their programs are teaching them, but most of the time, no. But there are other programs that are outside of the school that people can put their kids in, and they can learn these type of things, like coding. Like, for one example is Black Girls Code. I've heard of it. I've met the owner who started it, Kimberly Bryant, and it's an awesome program.
I heard her on the radio, I think, yesterday.
It's an awesome program that teaches primarily girls of color all about coding and how to learn how to do it. And then, but she's not the only one. There's so many other programs out there that teaches kids about coding. It's just if parents were willing to spend that extra time outside of school to take them to those programs.
Well, it's such an important thing. Certainly in healthcare, biology is a key thing. And now, do you have a particular program in which you are working with young people? I understand that you have a YouTube television show that you're educating people about. Talk to me about that a little bit.
So I have a show, it's called In the Know, science show with Kat Bobineau, and it all rhymes. But Basically, what it started off with was my thesis. And so my thesis for my master's is Women in STEM in the Media and Its Perspective for Young Girls. So I've been going around the Bay Area interviewing different women in STEM professions. So at Chabot Space and Science Center, Exploratorium, the San Francisco Zoo. And the thought process behind that is to give kids an idea and their families what jobs are out there if they go into STEM. So for example, I've always loved animals. And so everybody in my family has told me to be a vet. But veterinarians are not the only jobs that you can do when you work with animals. You can be a biologist, an ecologist, a mammologist. So my goal is to interview different people in different professions so that people have an idea of what's out there for them.
Okay. Well, In the Know with Kat Bobineau.
That's right.
We'll be watching for that, and we really appreciate you being here and talking with us about the STEM programs and about women in STEM programs. And certainly that would be the pathway that would take one to the healthcare training as well, which we know is a major, major thing in our country today.
Absolutely, and it will never go away.
It's going to be here for a long time.
That's right.
All right. Well, God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care. And we'll be right back here on the Health Beat Show.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.